Sooner or later, you're gonna summon, just like I did. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Hi there, I'm Aki from Aki Gaming, and welcome to another episode on Fire Emblem Heroes. In this video, we are going to have a look at the 4 new heroes from the World of Radiance banner. This episode is brought to you by Nox App Player, the new and best way to play mobile games on PC. It is a free Android emulator that I use to record all of my Fire Emblem Heroes gameplay. It lets you run the game on 60 frames per second with great stability and full compatibility. If you are interested, be sure to check out the link at the description below. I will also include a link on how to fix the error code for playing Fire Emblem Heroes. First, Ike, young mercenary. The fearless leader of the Greil Mercenaries, and the first and only protagonist who is not a noble birth. Ike's basic stats total is 158 and his combined rating is 174. His strongest stats is his attack at 51 with weapon, followed by his defense at 32. Special mention to his speed too, which is just a point lower than his defense at 31. He wields the divine sword Ragnar, which has a might of 16. Similar to Ryoma's Raijinto, this weapon also allows him to counterattack disregarding distance of foe, a fearsome ability that strips off ranged units' advantage. Ike introduced a new passive skill in A, which is Heavy Blade, a passive that hastens his cooldown charges whenever he attacks as long as his attack is higher than foes. In other words, he gets a -2 trigger each time he attacks if the condition is met. Even special with long cooldown could be easily procced with this skill. His passive skill B is Sword Breaker. It allows Ike to make a follow-up attack against sword user, but foe cannot if his HP is 50% or more, a skill which is useful against sword unit with high speed. Ike's special attack is Ether that resolve combat as if foes suffered a -50% on defense and resistance. Not only that, it recovers HP equal to the amount of damage dealt. It has a high cooldown cost of 5, but combined with his passive A, he could cast it every other turn. Ike's notable weakness is his low resistance to magic. Even though his speed is high enough to prevent most foes from making a follow-up attack, but he will still perish in the hands of speed mages such as Taja, Nino, and Lin. Let's have a look at some skill recommendation for him. The first would be Fury Vantage build. You could replace his slot A passive with Fury, a skill that grants him a +3 on attack, speed, defense, and resistance, but receives 6 damage every combat. It gives him the flexibility to go offensive or defensive when needed. As for his passive skill B, you could give him Vantage that lets him counterattack first when his HP is 75% or less. And because of the effect of Fury, Ike gets to be in Vantage range much quicker. If he couldn't one-round KO foes during initiation, this skill could finish them during enemy's phase. For his slot C, it's rather flexible. You could let him inherit any passive C skill that your team may need. Another flexible pick would be for his assist skill. You could give him Ardent Sacrifice or Reciprocal Aid to get him into the Vantage range, or any rallies to buff up an ally. Positioning skills such as Reposition, Drawback, and Swap is also useful to extend allies' movement or move them out from danger area. Lastly, for his special, you could swap with Moonbow for its low cooldown. Alternately, you could go for Draconic Aura, Luna, or Bonfire if you don't mind the higher trigger count. The second build would be Life and Death Vantage. Instead of Fury, you could let him inherit Life and Death. It grants him a +5 in attack and speed, but a -5 in defense and resistance. With that extra attack and speed, it increases the amount of units Ike gets to one-round KO. Not only that, it decreases the number of units that could hit him twice too. With the penalty on his defense and resistance, Ike tends to take more damage. In other words, it's a guaranteed way to put him in Vantage range if he survives the enemy's attack. As for his passive C, assist, special will remain the same as the previous build. The recommended IV for Ike would be a +speed or +attack. As for the minus, it should be on his resistance. Miss, helpful sister. The little sister of Ike. Miss possesses a cheerful demeanor and enjoys helping others as best as she can. Her basic stats total is 148 with a combined rating of 153. Miss highest stats is her HP at 39, followed by her resistance at 34. Miss wields the staff slow that reduces foe speed by 6 after combat. It's a good ability to aid allies by increasing their chances to perform a follow-up attack and reducing foes' chances to do the same. Her assist skill, Recover, restores 15 HP of a target adjacent ally by slowing her special trigger, one of the best healing skill in the game due to its consistency. Miss special is Miracle, which allows her to survive a lethal attack with 1 HP remaining, but with a high cooldown of 5. Same like her brother, Miss also has a new passive skill, which is Spur Defense Resistance at slot C. This skill grants adjacent ally a +3 on defense and resistance during combat, a very useful skill for a support unit to have. Miss weaknesses are her low attack and defense, a common trait among healers, as their main function is to restore HP at the backline. Covers and tanks are needed to ensure their safety at all times. Here's a few skill recommendations for her. A good assist skill for her would be Rehabilitation. It restores 7 HP or more the further below 50% the target's HP is. As for her passive skill A, you could give her any skill that increases her chance of survivability, such as Defense 3, HP +5, etc. Miss couldn't restore her own HP by default, so it is recommended to let her inherit Live to Serve at slot B. This skill allows her to restore the same amount of HP she heals. If you want a special with a lower cooldown, you could swap Miracle with Kindled Fire Balm. It grants all allies a +4 in attack when she's healing an ally with a staff. Alternately, Heavenly Light is a good special to be inherited too. The recommended IV for Miss is Flexible, as long as it's not a minus defense. Soren, Shrewd Strategist. The staff officer and strategist of the Greil Mercenaries, Soren is a close friend of Ike and harbors undying loyalty towards him. His basic stats total is 148 with a combined rating of 161 after weapon equip. Soren's highest stats is his attack at 46, followed by his speed at 33. He wields the Rex Caliber Plus that has a might of 13, a tome with no added abilities. Like the previous 2 heroes, Soren also has a new passive skill called Water Sweep at slot B. If he initiates an attack, there will not be a follow-up. But when facing a tome, staff or dragonstone user, if his speed is higher than foes by 1, they will not be able to counterattack. A useful skill to do damage to mages without getting hurt, especially those with high speed. Soren's passive skill in slot C is 45 Resistance. It grants adjacent allies a +4 in resistance at the start of each turn. This skill works best against teams that deals magic damage, as the extra resistance could actually save your allies. Growing Winds is the name of the special he holds. It deals a wide area damage equal to his attack minus foe's resistance before combat during initiation. The pros of AoE skill is they ignore weapon advantage and foes can only counter-attack during battle. In other words, he gets to hit twice before enemy could react. Even though Soren's speed is considerably high, but his passive skill Water Sweep prevents him to make a follow-up attack. It's a little counterproductive in my opinion. Let's have a look at some skill recommendation for him. Looking at his stats, you will find some resemblance to Nino. So I would recommend you to build him like how you build a Nino. First, you could replace his weapon with Ground Blade Plus, a weapon that adds total bonuses on unit to damage dealt by slowing the special trigger. Then for his slot A, you could give him Fury that grants +3 to all stats. To complement Fury, it is recommended to replace Water Sweep with Desperation at slot B. This skill allows him to make an immediate follow-up attack during initiation when his HP is 75% or less. By having Fury, Soren could endure a hit from enemy and activate Desperation in the process without the need to learn Ardent Sacrifice. If you are tired to wait 5 charge for Growing Winds, a good special for him would be Moonbow because of its low cooldown. As for his assists, positioning skills such as reposition or drawback could be a lifesaver in a lot of situations. We could also give some flexibility on his passive skill in slot C, Any passive skill which could benefit your team would be fine. The recommended IV for Soren would be a plus speed minus resistance. Titania, Mighty Mercenary. The deputy commander of the Greil Mercenaries, Titania serves as an advisor of sorts to Ike and often expresses views that clash with Soren. Her basic stats total is 154 with a combined rating of 166 after equipping weapon. Titania's highest stats is her attack at 40 followed by speed at 34. She wields the Emerald Axe Plus that has a mic of 12. It grants her a plus 20% attack if weapon advantage and minus 20% attack if weapon disadvantage. In total, her attack will be plus 44% when fighting against blue units, and their attack will be reduced 44% when attacking her. But she will receive the opposite treatment when facing against red units. Titania's assist skill Reciprocal Aid enables her to swap HP with an adjacent ally, but neither unit can go above their max HP. This skill could prolong her survival rate by exchanging HP with an ally when her HP is low, so she could stay at the front line longer. It could also be used to save an ally by giving them the needed HP to survive a hit or two. Titania's passive skill at slot A is Armored Blow. It grants her a plus 6 on defense while initiating, a good skill to have when going head-on with another melee unit. Like the other three that we introduced earlier, she also comes with a new passive skill at slot B, which is Guard. This skill increases the cooldown trigger of foes by 1 if her HP is 80% or higher at the start of combat. Titania's biggest weakness is her inability to go against red units because of the weapon she wields. She will literally deal 0 damage to them and get 1 hit KO in most cases, so try to avoid red unit at all costs. Titania has very high speed, so let's have a look at a build that fully exploits her strength. Firstly, you could swap her Armor Blow with Life and Death. This skill gives her a plus 5 attack and speed with a penalty of minus 5 on defense and resistance. With this, her speed will be high enough to double almost every hero in the game. Similar to how we built Soren, you could let her learn Desperation as slot B2, but instead of taking hits to enable her to be in Desperation range, it's better to give her Ardent Sacrifice as an assist skill. It heals 10 HP of an adjacent ally, but she loses 10 HP in exchange. By losing that 10 HP, it will be just enough to put her in Desperation mode so she can start rampaging. You could also stick to her default assist skill if you calculate the exchange correctly, which will be a little tricky sometimes. Titania doesn't have a special, so it's recommended to give her one that has a low cooldown, which is Moonbow in her case. Let me explain why. You could swap her Emerald Axe with Killer Axe to reduce her special cooldown by 1. And with Desperation activated, she could cast Moonbow every combat phase. The recommended IV for Titania would be a plus speed minus resistance. So, what's your thought on this banner? Are you going all out to get the hero on this list? Which is your favorite hero among these 4? Leave a comment below. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Aki Gaming for more interesting content. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.